Hey Dub, this is David Tsai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Taeyang and some health issues that occurred with his baby. This one is a bit sad, but I definitely wanted to talk about it. I also want to get into what people believe that the group Monsta X might be positive for the virus. There's a lot to get into today. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, a teaspoon mug merch, and let's jump into it. The first thing that I want to address is Taeyang's dog, Yeontan. Yeontan is very beloved by the fandom, and while he is probably the most famous dog ever, we don't actually know much about him other than that sometimes he can have a bit of an attitude. That dog has no idea how lucky he is and how he has such a beautiful, amazing owner. Any chance that Taeyang gets, he chooses to honor Yeontan and mention him. So if you watch any of his shows or anything like that, he sometimes shows Yeontan or just how loving and cute he is. I was wondering why he doesn't bring Yeontan with him when he travels, and I'm starting to understand possibly why at this point, and we will get more into that very soon. Recently, due to BTS being on a break, Taeyang has been back to his hometown in Korea and has been taking photos of Yeontan to share with us. He has been posting them on Weverse and even some on his Instagram, which I am loving. Interestingly enough, around the same time, the GQ magazine just dropped of all the boys and their interviews. It seems like these interviews and photos were done a long time ago and maybe even mid or beginning of this year. So keep that in mind. When our boys said that they have been busy, but nothing has been posted, they were definitely correct. Suddenly now all this stuff is coming out and they're just sitting and chilling and not doing anything. While with every drop, the internet keeps exploding. GQ did the interview with each individual member and talked about cute things like interests and just random fun facts. But during Taeyang's interview, when asked about his dog, Taeyang replied that Yeontan has a condition that is quite sad to hear about. Yeontan has small lungs or maybe small breathing tubes and thus has difficulty breathing. And even running for a while can cause him to faint. And of course, if you know dogs, they run a lot. And Yeontan has been in and out of surgery apparently over this issue. None of which has apparently worked, and thus he still has an issue doing normal things that dogs should be able to do. You definitely wouldn't be able to tell because he seems so happy, Yeontan, and it is as if it doesn't affect him. The weird things about animals that I've noticed is that even when something is very wrong, they seem to just go about their normal day. They just accept that that is life now. And so what's even more sad is that Yeontan probably just thinks running too much just causes everyone to faint. And this is very sad to see, as we know of Yeontan for a long time, and it would be sad to see anything happen to him. We also feel like we know him and we love him so much from the cute videos and photos that Taeyang posts for us. Taeyang talked about how brave Yeontan is for enduring all of this and all the breathing problems. If it was a leg injury or something like that, it's definitely not as bad, but when it's an internal organ problem, it is just very uncomfortable all the time. And it's like, you can't hold it or like comfort it because you can't touch it and it's just there. Fortunately, Yeontan probably doesn't know the difference between healthy and not healthy, especially if he's had this issue for a long time. So he isn't sitting there moping about not being healthy, because that's what I do when I don't feel well. I just mope. Basically, Yeontan doesn't know that he is suffering, which is sometimes better. People started to post pictures of Taeyang with Yeontan online and started to wish him the best, and such amazing posts were being tweeted out online in support. These are things that I am glad Taeyang is speaking out about more. I feel like K-pop idols are so reserved with their personal life and we don't often actually know anything about them or their family. But this is a good look into his baby boy and how much he cares for him. There were some people, including myself, that were maybe hoping that Taeyang will take an even bigger extended break just to spend more time with Yeontan. Not necessarily fully leave BTS, but just a break. I know if anything were to happen to Yeontan and Taeyang wasn't around there with him, he'd be really sad. Taeyang has talked about how much Yeontan means to him, and Taeyang even changed his profile picture on Weverse to admit the love and honor he has for Yeontan. And speaking from a less emotional place, it's also not good for his career either to just go and perform without another thought, as he's not going to perform perfectly if he's thinking about wanting to be with his dog. And I am so glad he's taking the time to be with his dog right now. And I hope he realizes that while he can love performing and all that, being with his family and staying by his family is the most important. So whether he will actually take time off from working and BTS to be with Yeontan during more surgeries or whatever, that only fate knows and only he knows. But I hope he takes the time that he would need when he needs it, and doesn't feel like he has to perform or be at a show when he needs to be at the hospital with Yeontan. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the GQ magazines were probably in the making earlier this year or mid this year. So the condition of Yeontan could be better now or getting better, and that's why I think it's important to mention that, as it seems like Yeontan is healthy now, and also if he doesn't run, then everything is okay. I hope so. I hope to see an update soon and more people showing support, and here's to hoping that Yeontan can still live a beautiful and long life and continue to be so cute and amazing. I actually hope to see Yeontan maybe one day even being more healthy enough to travel, and maybe Taeyang can bring him on the road with him and we can all meet him one day. Who knows? But I'm glad to see idols and people going out and about in the world right now. There's so many artists that have started to do their tours again, and it's really beautiful. So the group Monsta X has been in America promoting their stuff, and apparently they have a new English album, and I am not entirely sure, but they seem to have crossed paths with a group called Big Time Rush. They disbanded a little while ago. Each member started doing their own solo stuff. It appears like they came back together, or at the very least were hanging out together, which is so awesome, because we never know what the standing is between members after they disband, and now we know there aren't any actual issues. There was a photo posted of Big Time Rush and Monsta X together, and the internet kind of broke a little bit because Big Time Rush was kind of a lot of people's childhood, and now a lot of those people have moved on after BTR disbanded and stand a new group, and they happen to stand Monsta X. Both groups were apparently at iHeartRadio, and they ended up taking a group photo together. Aside from just the silliness that exploded after the photo, some people became really concerned. It was announced at the start of the concert, either at iHeartRadio or Big Time Rush's own concert, I believe according to tweets online and stuff. And it is theorized the photo was taken after, but we don't know the exact timeline. This is important, I'll explain in a bit, because it was announced that Kendall Schmidt, one of the Big Time Rush members, had tested positive for COVID. Scary, I know. So the internet exploded with concerns as if Monsta X was positive now too, and this is why the timeline of when the photo was taken is important to know, and we don't know. Apparently the other members of Big Time Rush were all tested to be negative, and just Kendall was positive. And so there is likelihood that Kendall got the virus after meeting Monsta X and didn't give it to Monsta X, because if during the time Kendall took the photo he had COVID, then so would all the other members of Big Time Rush, but they all tested negative. This is obviously a legit concern, but I think everyone is okay, and it seems like Kendall is okay too. Everyone is very healthy, like all the members of both groups, so even if they got something, they will be okay. But the concern is definitely that if Monsta X got the virus, they would have to cancel shows and all that, which of course the fans are going to be so disappointed by. This is also a good time to remind everyone to stay safe. Whether you're vaccinated or chose not to get vaccinated is your decision. I can't change your decision, but please continue to at least stay a safe distance from people, and try not to crowd around people you don't know, especially if you're going to those venues for shows. Please be safe, and quite honestly, if I heard someone got COVID, especially from a singer, and I heard that at the venue, I'm not sure I'd want to stay. If I'm going to be honest, I am saying this as a fan of Big Time Rush, because if an outbreak happened at a concert and it's a particular singer, then that's not good for anyone. The pandemic is not entirely over yet. Let's try and be careful. We can still have fun, but just be more mindful of what we're doing and if it's affecting other people. I do think Monsta X is going to be okay, and I think all the members of Big Time Rush, including Kendall, will be okay. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see more K-pop reaction videos, go to my Patreon, link below. I can't post them here due to copyright, but you can get all sorts of reaction videos and requests. It's a great way to support the channel even more if you would like to. Thank you so much for this lovely comment. I love you so much. There will be some videos that will pop up on screen, and I will see you over there. Bye.